Well, originally I had like D&D characters in mind because I've played quite a bit of D&D. My husband's a massive D&D nerd. And my
Shout out, Andrew.
shout out Andrew. Um, and the first character I ever made for the first campaign I played was a little goblin called Henry Jr., like who was a little arsonist, kept fireballing everyone. And I don't think I've ever related more to a character in my life. But but I feel it's like the inner me that I don't really let people see because I try to be a normal human being. But I was just like, I don't know, like, and then Cooper cleaned up the question a little bit to like include just fictional characters, so movie characters or whatever. Um, but yeah, I don't know, like, what characters do you feel? It could also be an external thing, but do you feel like you internally kind of like relate to? It could, yeah, movie characters, TV characters, fictional fantasy characters. Yeah, my little goblin is definitely like the fictional one I most relate to. Movie characters I had to think about. Like, I don't really know. Honestly, if I had to pick, I would say like Jack Sparrow
Oh,
Nice.
for like the similar. Also, Parts of the Caribbean is like the movie I went to see that made me realize I wanted to be an actor, which is so corny. But I was just like, I want to be silly and like jump off ships and like dress as a pirate. That's crazy. Like that's someone's job. That's insanity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I have this weird like little rascaliness inside of me that.
Can I give you one that I think?
Yes. What for me?
Yeah, Bugs Bunny. Come on, carrot eater.
Oh, the carrot.
Cooper's still
Okay.
stuck on the carrot.
Okay. We're back on the carrot. I mean, look at my pretty
Oh, yeah.
carrot.
There we go.
She loves carrots.
You as a carrot. Wow.
I do. I do. It's ridiculous. No, Bugs Bunny for sure. I remember watching Bugs Bunny as a kid and like telling my mom I needed my carrot. I was like, Mom, it's Bugs Bunny. Can you please peel a carrot for me?
Is that true? Is that a true
No,
story?
it's actually true. Like
Okay.
it's so stupid.
And
but
wait,
yeah.
was your little goblin who was named Henry?
Henry Jr.
Henry Jr.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's gonna be my answer. I think I really relate to this.
I think he'd be a good Henry Jr. He's a wild child. But yeah.
This is one of those questions where I feel like whenever I'm not thinking about it, I would have 100 answers.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
the second I walk away, I'll be like, oh man, like why didn't I, you know, like when someone asks me, I blank. But yeah, I feel like I mean, there's obvious ones. Like I just watched the P. Diddy documentary and really related to him on all accounts. But with that out of the, other than that, of course, joking, of course. I think there's like
I was like, is there another P. Diddy that I don't know about?
there's like little bits. I feel like everyone, I don't know, maybe because we're actors, I feel like when we're watching movies, at least for me, there's like little bits I'll steal where I'm like, oh man, I really relate to that. I really relate to that. Even small things like, and this is going to sound weird, but I'm actually being serious, but American Psycho, like even his like little morning routine and stuff and his like sense of humor, I like very much gravitated towards and related to. Not all the murder, despite what I've been saying this entire podcast.
You have a theme going on, Cooper. You should.
Yeah, I'm revealing too much about. This will never see. I'll never release this episode. But my real answer, and it's very abstract and bizarre, but I've felt this way since high school when I first watched the Lord of the Rings. It's and I'll explain how because it's going to sound weird, but Frodo in those movies is like I do really relate to him, and the reason why is. It's my favorite movie of all time. The first one is like my favorite movie ever made. And I've always used the ring as like a symbol for a giant task that you're going to do, like this big journey you're going to go on. I started making movies at a young age and I started doing all this stuff at a young age around high school. And like my first movie almost killed me. It was so hard to do. And my friend and I were just like, it was just such a journey and it took us years and years and years. And I always like watched those movies. And I know obviously it's way different, but like the struggle they go through and the way I remember at the very end of making our first movie, I almost felt like I could no longer relate the same way to most of my peers or most of my friends because a lot of them were just going after acting or not doing anything creative at all. And Dan and I had been on such a rigorous journey that was so tough that I could no longer like, I couldn't explain how hard it was to people. And I felt like, the Frodo Sam kind of thing. I was like, I feel like we went on this big thing together and now we're just like changed forever for good and bad. And so I've taken that with me on everything. Like the game, my video game truly almost like literally killed me so many times. It was so difficult. So every time I do a new project, I feel like I'm going on like another quest with like this ring that is something that's precious to you, but it's also killing you at the same time. It's this weird like dynamic of like hardship and journey and all this kind of stuff. So I always, Frodo Baggins is my abstract
that's such
answer.
a good answer.
Yeah,
I love
with the ring
that.
and the film work, that's like precious and destroying you. That's actually great.
Yeah.
What is it for you, Dilara?
I would say it's Joe March from the Little Women's stories, but not only the stories, but also specifically the one that came out done by Greta Gerwig. Because I've seen some of the Little Women remakes, and there were a lot of like even a TV show they made. And honestly, I've never read the books even, but I just like the character intrigued me. But this like version of Greta Gerwig, I love this story, but also like the character. I think it was beautifully played by Saoirse Ronan. But then also it just like every time I watch a movie, that's kind of my guilty pleasure movie. Like I watch it when I like just need to dive into a story that makes you feel really great after watching. Also because there are a lot of kind of similarities to my life, like so many sisters, and like Bianca and I, we're like 2 out of 5, and so there's a lot of stuff that I really kind of connect with, and also that's like how Saoirse Ronan takes the take on Jo March in that movie, the kind of strength she has and goes through like during that time, all the other difficulties coming with being a woman who wants to work and write and do something creative during the time, doing something different than just marrying into wealth basically. I really love that in the journey and what it takes and where she starts at the beginning and then in the end, even though it's a book, and in the end she theoretically gets married as well, but I just love the character in itself. I think that's a character I really can connect with and feels like my journey. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
How's it for you, Bianca?
That's awesome. I would say I have 2 answers. So one would be, and there's also a reason why, I think one would be like a mix of Alice in Wonderland, like the drawn version, just because she's so curious, and I think every artist has that curiosity that we were talking about before. So I think a mix of her and Sarah Connor, just because I love her in Terminator. Yeah. That may not mean anything to you, but no, she's really like badass, and I think it's she's just like a hero that I watch on screen. So I think the curiosity of that child, the Disney, the Alice in Wonderland, and that grown up woman who is also mother and very protective and just like so smart. I think that combo is something I think is really cool, like that fictional combo. But if I just pick one, I would go with the little cricket in Mulan, like the Disney movie. There's this little cricket, and it's like this lucky cricket, and then I think the grandma walks across the street with the cricket, and all the cars crashing, everything is burning, but she like survived, nothing happened. And I think I just consider myself very lucky and very grateful for a lot of things that has been happening in my life. So I think this cricket is just such a lucky little bitch. I think that's my spirit animal for sure.
Oh my God, I love that. Mulan is one of my favorite movies.
Yes.
Also, I gotta say, like with your white tank top, you and your hair, you look like Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
Like 100%.
Go right in for style.
Yeah, dresses the part.
Yeah.
Sure.
Have you ever watched something once and related to a character, and then later on in life you've rewatched it and you've related to a completely different character because you've grown in certain ways?